In today's video, we're talking with one of the OGs in the real estate space himself, King Khang. We talk about how I got into real estate and a lot about my journey that I've never shared anywhere else. We discuss my entire real estate portfolio, what I would do myself if I were to start all over and want to quit my job as soon as possible, and even content creation. This was a super fun conversation. I hope you enjoy this episode.
YouTube family, what is up? Today, I'm bringing you guys a badass real estate investor. This guy does fix and flip, wholesale, Airbnb king. All right, now listen to me. This guy have millions of followers across, I don't know, man, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Dude, if you don't know who he is, man, you must be sleeping on the rock. But in case you don't know who he is, I'm going to bring him on and I'm going to have him share with you guys, man, shed some lights, drop some bomb, and help you become the next millionaire. Because, dude, Preston, how old are you, bro?
I think I just turned 32.
31. Dude, you look like you're 26, 27.
I think it's just the Asian genetics, man. You know how it goes.
Hey, you're looking good over there, man. So,
appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Dude, you guys, I've been trying it so hard to get Preston to come on, man, because, dude, this guy drops so much bomb. If you haven't followed him on all his social media, definitely do so. I promise you, it's not going to be a waste of time. He's not going to be like another guy that you follow on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. So, Preston, man, for those that don't know your stories, like how do you grow up, man? And then what did you do prior? What was your JO to B? And then how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, so my parents immigrated from South Korea, 30 plus years ago. They came to the States. They started their, restaurant businesses, not because they wanted to, but just out of necessity, right? They just had to grind, work 12 to 14-hour days to, support my family, me and my brothers. Now, we weren't necessarily poor. We were always, lower to middle class growing up. So we had, most of what we had, but, they were never really present when I was younger for me and my brothers. Right. So, I would see them, just struggle, grind, throughout the years. And so like my goal ultimately was to go to college, get a job. And that was like, in my mind, that was the American dream. Right. So, did that, went through college, graduated, and then, got a W-2 job. And I remember like the very first day of that job, I was like, dude, there's no way I'm going to be doing this for the next 40 to 50 years. And then that's how, I eventually got into real estate and, started off house hacking, and then slowly started to pick up properties from there on.
Bro, we're going to talk about your first house hacking story, man. But I want to ask you, Preston, so when you go to college, dude, what field was it in and how much did it cost you?
Yeah, so it was business management. Now, okay. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried to do all these different majors. I tried to go through the physical therapy route. I could not do that. I tried to, dabbled a little bit in the doctor route, like all Asian parents want you to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I just realized like I wasn't smart enough to do any of those things, and nor did I have the passion. So I just, kind of landed on a very generic business management degree. And then from there, got a sales job just because was paying the most at the time. And that's kind of how it came to be.
Gotcha, man. Hey, Preston, I want to talk about the whole passion, bro. So when you were starting out, because I think a lot of people get confused on the whole thing. When you were starting out, right? And obviously you trying to support your own lifestyle, man. Were you seeking for passion, or you were seeking for whatever you can do ethically, right? Just to make that money, man.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right? Because, that first day W-2 job, I was like, even though it was, eventually like, 2 years into that job, I was making pretty good money. But I knew that I was going to use that income to go and find a vehicle to get out of that rat race. And so for me, that was real estate. My cousin was investing in real estate at the time. He was trying to, get me into it, but I just never really understood and fully grasped the concept of going to thousands of dollars in debt and being brainwashed my entire life. Us, being told that debt is bad, avoid it like the plague. And so he kept being persistent, told me all the benefits. One night I remember he just sat down, wrote it all on a notepad and was like, dude, this is the reason why real estate's so powerful. And then it slowly started to make sense to me. And that's when I got really obsessed about, wanting to use real estate to be that ultimate vehicle to get me to financial freedom. Gotcha,
dude. Now, Preston, were you obsessed with becoming financially free, not working for somebody else, or were you passionate and about real estate? And hey, hold on a second. And the reason I asked that question, Preston, because throughout my life, dude, it wasn't about follow my passion. It was, dude, the reason we got into real estate, dude, it could have been Amazon drop shipping for for what I care, right? But for us, it's like, we like, hey, real estate created the most millionaire. So we're like, hey, maybe that's the path we should go in. And because I know I have the work ethic and I can commit and just grind, and that's the path that we choose. It wasn't a passion.
Yeah, I think yeah, for sure. Like I didn't care what the vehicle was. I just knew that real estate was, proven. It's been around for decades and decades or, hundreds of years, right? And so I just knew that if I could figure out how to make it work within real estate, that I could eventually lead to financial freedom. I mean, I don't I don't care about any of my properties, right? Like they're just a vehicle to get me to financial freedom. It doesn't matter what that vehicle was. I just wanted something that I knew was proven and something that I could, grasp my head around.
Dude, I love that, because the reason I want to point that out, bro, is because for me, it's doing whatever is required when you're starting out broke, dude. It's whatever you can make to get that money coming in. And then eventually later on, once you got the money, there you go. Use that to fund whatever it is that you want to do, that's what you call passion. I think, Preston, too many people use the excuse of, oh, it's not my passion, so they're lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because a lot of people, they reach out to me and they're like, hey man, like, we get thousands of DMs once you get to a certain, amount of followers. And like, yeah, like, people are like, yeah, dude, I really want to pursue my, music degree. And it's like, okay, I mean, you can do that on the side. Like you don't have to get rid of your passions, but I believe in having seasons in life where if you have a goal that you want to get, whether that, financial freedom, let's say, like you have to make sacrifices to put that on the back burner and just suck it up for 5 to 7 years and then go and do your passions for whatever you want, right? But there can't be a balance, in my opinion, especially at the beginning when you're going through that grind season. And I think every entrepreneur has gone through that one way or another.
Dude, I love it, man. Now, Preston, let's talk about your first house hack, man. How do you found it? So tell us the entire story.
Yeah, so once I started my W-2 job, that's a couple months later, talking to my cousin, and he was like, this is kind of the route that he took. And I'm a firm believer in not reinventing the wheel, trying to start the next Facebook big app. Like I wanted to follow what's been proven. So, talk to my cousin, he house hacked his first fourplex. So that's what I was doing. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put an alert. I went on realtor.com, put all the parameters that I had in place, multifamily, purchase price less than $400,000. And so anytime a listing with that criteria popped up, I would, get a notification. So I remember sitting on my phone one night, notification pops up. It's a fourplex. It was for sale for like $390,000. And then I called my agent right away. I wanted to be like, hey, I want to walk through this. So next day, like literally during my lunch break at work, drove over to the property, walked through it, put an offer in, and then we got accepted. And the greatest thing, and for those that don't know what house hacking is, it's essentially where you just live in one of the units and then you rent out the other units, and then you can live for free if you do it correctly. I remember I think I put $25,000 down. Monthly payment was $2,300 a month, and then the income from the other 3 units came out to roughly $2,400 a month. So basically I was living for free, which, is a game changer when your biggest expense for most people is eliminated. So me and my wife lived in that unit and we were able to save up a ton of money because we didn't have a housing payment for an entire year.
Bro, okay, dude. Okay. First I want to know is Preston, how much were you making from your W-2?
So the first year it's probably around 80 to 90,000. My first year. And then my second year, then, at the peak, I was making about $250,000 per year. So like, I mean, great. Yeah, great job, right? Like, but that's kind of where the golden handcuffs come into play. But I knew that even though I was making good money from that job, I didn't want to continue staying there. So every dollar that I was making, I was just reinvesting back into real estate.
Gotcha, man. So, and that's how you're able to save 25K.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha, man. Preston, so where are you based out of, dude?
So I'm currently in the Salt Lake City area, Utah. It's been here my whole life, man.
Wow. Okay, so now my next question to you is, let's just say someone it's in the same position as you are, right? They're stuck at the J or the B and they want to escape, which I think majority of you do. Preston, how long did you work there? And then where were you financially until you be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to put in my 2-week notice.
Yeah, so I was there for probably close to 3 years. And I mean, there's like a lot of pressure that was building up because like me and my boss, I didn't really get along with him just because, there's just like constant pressure, the office politics. I don't know if you've ever had a W-2 job, but there's all these like weird political things that go on. I just didn't like that. I'm the type of person just wants to get in, do my best, and then just get out and close my laptop
Yeah.
at 5 p.m. or whatever it is, right? And so like I was slowly starting to pick up rentals on the side. I was using the bird method. Like I said, I was flipping, wholesaling deals here and there. And then I really needed to figure out how to accelerate my cash flow because by the point this is like mid to end of 2021, I was making about $6,000 per month in cash flow for my rental portfolio. I had some partners, but that wasn't enough for me to just go all in and quit my job because, like I said, I was making $250,000 per year at that job, and so that's when I discovered the short-term rental game where I was chasing an opportunity because I wanted to stay within real estate, but I wanted something with higher cash flow potential. So that's why I found out, about short-term rentals. And then, 2021, I launched my first one and I did the rental arbitrage route where you don't have to buy the property, just lease it out from someone. And then very first month we launched that, I made $9,000 in profit. And so like once we did that, and I probably should have given it some more time before I quit my job, but ended up quitting my job December 2021.
And then how much were you making the side hustle right when you quit?
So by that point, we were at, that December, we had made $15,000 in cash flow from the rental portfolio, plus that one short-term rental. And then we started to scale that short-term rental side. So within 7 months, we were at $18,000 a month in cash flow from just the 3 short-term rentals. And then plus the other traditional rentals were about $24,000 per month.
Oh, damn, bro. So, President, are you doing all this by yourself and the wifey, or do you have partners?
Yeah, so for the traditional rentals, me and my partner, or me and my cousin, we partnered up on most of the portfolio that we built up there. And the short-term rentals, that's all self-funded through just me and my wife.
Got it, dude. Okay, so now let's talk about short-term rentals, dude. If someone is watching this, Preston, if you have to give them the blueprint to getting their first one, please walk me through step by step if you can.
Yeah, I think, for most people, like, I always, I have, a community of people that, we, mastermind and all that. So I always recommend like 90 to 95% of people start off with arbitrage because number one, it's way less risky, right? Because, it's much harder to, go and sell a property. Number two, it's way less capital intensive, right? Just because you mainly just have to take care of the furniture. Like one of the biggest expenses comes from, the down payment and also the rehab to get the property ready. So I always recommend going that route. So that route essentially is just you reach out to landlords that have properties listed for rent. And obviously we're catering towards a, traveler, right? So we're looking for people that are looking for experience. So, think more vacation type destinations. You want to make sure you create an experience for those people. And so, you can't just put some crappy Craigslist furniture in a property, call it good, and just start to expect to make money, right? You have to, have a cohesive design. You have to have the amenities. You have to have the right locations. And then once you have those things, you can launch it on Airbnb. For the arbitrage route, your income, so that whatever your guests pay, you minus the rent plus other expenses is going to be your cash flow. And so that was the route that I took for my very first property and was, very successful at that. But eventually, we ended up going to purchasing properties just because, at that point, my income was higher. I wanted more of the cash flow. I wanted more of the tax benefits plus the equity plus the cash flow. So I, ended up purchasing properties after that first one.
Gotcha, man. Okay, so basically the arbitrage is you reach out to a homeowner and they'll be like, hey, you know what? Someone that okay, now Preston, where do you find these landlord?
Yeah, so these landlords, wherever there's rentals available, so Zillow.com for rent, Facebook Marketplace, anywhere you can find where landlords are renting out their properties. Now, like obviously, like people, completely mess up the script where they, pick up the phone, hey, I want to Airbnb your property, and of course they're going to hang up and tell you to F off, right? It's like anything else in life, you have to frame it in the right way. So why would a landlord choose you over a traditional rental or renter, right? So a couple of things you can say. Number one, you're going to give them free property management. You're going to have professional cleaners come in multiple times per week. They're going to check in on the property, make sure everything's good to go. They're going to professionally clean it, obviously, after each guest. And so you're just trying to because landlords are lazy, right? They want passive income. And so if you can take care of their property, you can give them their money every single month. And then, why would they say no to that? So it's just all about how you frame it. And once you do that, then it's becomes a much easier conversation. And we have, hundreds of people, doing that, locking up deals like that.
Dude, love it. Now, Preston, you did your first house hack at what age?
First house hack, let's see, that was back in 2018. So that was
Okay.
about 6 years ago. So 26.
Okay. So 20. Okay. And what does your rental portfolio look like now?
Yeah. So today we have 40 traditional long-term rentals.
40?
Yeah, 40.
Damn. Okay.
And then we have 7 short-term rentals.
Nice. When you say short term, you actually own them, not Avatage.
Nope. Yeah. So we own our entire portfolio now.
Nice, man. Okay. So and how old are you now?
I am 32.
Dude, okay. So Preston, my next question to you is the first house hacking that you did, are you guys still live there? What do you do with it?
Yeah. So after about a year and a half, we built up $150,000 in equity in that property. And so that's why I always, arbitrage is a great way to, kind of build that initial cash flow. But we ultimately want to end up owning these real estate or owning the real estate just because of all the benefits that come along with that. And so like that very first fourplex, we're like, okay, we have $150,000 in equity. And then we ended up 1031 exchanging that, me and my partner, into a larger 24 unit complex. So basically just took that equity, traded up to a bigger asset. And we sold that, year, probably 3 years ago now.
The 24 units?
Yep.
And how much did you guys pick it up for?
So that the 24 unit property, so it appraised for like 2.4 million. We ended up getting a really good deal on it. So I think we ended up buying it for in the ballpark of 1.6 or 7. Can't remember exactly what that number was. Okay. So we ended up, basically just taking the equity from the fourplexes that we own, and then we're just trading it up to the 24 unit.
And then you end up selling the 24 units.
And then we still have the 24 units today.
Okay. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay. Got it. But you sold, traded up, still on the 24. And you think right now that 24 units is worth about 2.4?
Yeah, the current, or it's probably worth like 2.2 now. We bought it for 1.6, 1.7, somewhere in that range.
Damn. And then do you guys have to spend anything on rehab?
Yeah, so we slowly started to, like using the cash flow from that property, and then we just slowly started making updates. Honestly, like the seller was pretty in a distressed situation, and so that's why he just needed to get it off, pretty quickly. That's why we got it on a, pretty good deal. But I mean, there wasn't a ton of work that needed to be done, but we slowly did make upgrades through it over the years.
How do you found that deal?
So that deal was where all good deals go to die, which is LoopNet. It's very hard to find good deals on that, but yeah, we were just kind of scouring all over, building relationships with different brokers, but we ended up finding that deal on LoopNet.
Got it. So, with what currently you're doing right now, Preston, do you guys do a lot of direct to sell? Like, where's majority of your leads or deal are coming from? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, so I mostly they were coming from wholesalers. I've kind of pulled back a little bit on picking up the rentals just because, or like the traditional rentals, just because we've kind of pivoted to the short term. So the short term rentals, that's mainly kind of going through, developing relationships with real estate agents, because because for the long term rentals, I was only focused in Utah. For the short term rentals, we have them all over the country. So we have some in Florida, we have some in Virginia, Tennessee, Arizona. So we kind of have them all over. And so we've been able to develop a lot of good relationships with different agents around. And so if there's a deal that's coming up, a lot of these agents will come and present them to us before they list it on the market. Nice. So that's how we picked up a majority of our properties, the past few ones, but primarily we were just looking just on regular Zillow. We don't have like a team of people like cold calling or anything like that. I
see. So you guys don't do a lot of like direct to seller.
Yeah, I personally haven't done direct to seller in a few years, just because, we've been able to find some decent deals on Zillow over the past, couple of years.
Sure. So Preston, if someone were to start, right, and don't know anything about real estate, what would your advice to them? Like, kind of where do they start so that way they can escape the rat race the quickest, man? Like basically giving them kind of the blueprint of what you would do.
Yeah, so I mean, number one is, like, most of the times people that want to get out of the rat race, they don't have that foundational education piece. And I think too many people will use that as an excuse to just study for years and years and years and not do anything about it. But for
Mm.
me, I got obsessed with listening to bigger pockets and listening to people like even you, Kong, Ryan Pineda,
Oh,
like all these guys that are actually actively in the game and listening to what they're doing. And then if I wanted to even accelerate that further, I would find one of these people that you want to be like and just pay for their coaching or their programs or whatever, just because there's no better way to accelerate your growth than it is to pay for someone's 10 plus years of experience and condensing that into a few hours. Like it's like the biggest life hack, and people think it's a scam, right?
yeah.
And so that's what I would do. First get that foundation, and then just start making deals. Just start cold calling, start making relationships with lenders, agents, and then just start getting out there and actually actively being in it, because you're not going to learn, like, there's only so many things you can learn in a book or a podcast, but it's a whole different ball game once you're actually out there slinging in the actual grind of it. You'll learn way more if you go that route.
Love it, man. So would you recommend someone to start out house hacking like you, or wholesaling, fix and flip, short-term rentals? Sorry. So
No,
what's
you're
your take?
yeah. So what I would do, for most people, like if I had to go back, I wouldn't
Yep.
really change the house hacking part, because eliminating that housing expense was huge. Like there was so much peace of mind. I'm like, well, my tenants are essentially just paying my mortgage for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Then it gives you this freedom to make a little bit more risks. And so going back, I wouldn't. I think I started picking up rentals too soon, because
Mm,
that's kind of what I was getting kind of brainwashed into, like listening to bigger
yep.
pockets. And obviously I don't regret it now. Like, those properties
Right.
are worth millions of dollars in equity, but like I would go out there and, I would go the wholesale route. I would go the rental arbitrage route, increase the cash flow. So that way, if you, absolutely hate your job, want to get out of it, then you have that cash flow that matches or exceeds your W-2 income. And then now you can, slowly start to pick up rentals, start building your long-term wealth that way. So that if I had to start over, I would house hack, and then I would pick a vehicle that you're increasing your active income with that, whether that's flipping, wholesaling, rental arbitrage, etc.
I love it, man. Preston, dude, I wish I would have had more time with you, man, because I got so much question for you. And so what is your kind of daily schedule looking like today, bro?
Yeah, I mean, my schedule is a lot more lax than what it was, doing
Yeah.
W2 job and grinding. So I usually wake up, play with my two sons. Two sons under 3. So, before I do any work, we'll typically play with them until, 9 or 10 a.m. 10 a.m., check in with my team from, a couple hours. I also like to create content. So always, block out some time either to script, either to film for a couple hours, check in with my team again in the afternoon, and then try to sign off, anywhere between 3 and 5 p.m. most days. So these days I don't like to work too much. And that's a nice thing about, getting to financial freedom, is you can create your own schedule. And so, yeah, man, like it's honestly, this is like the life I've always dreamed of. I'm not this person that's over here trying to create, $1 billion net worth. Like, I feel like I'm obviously always hungry to, continue making more, but I'm not, someone that has to grind for 80 to 100 hours every single week. And I'm grateful for that for sure.
Love it, man. Preston, so what is your what is your goal in the next, let's just say when you turn 40? So what's your goal, man?
Goal when I'm 40. So I honestly like to work. I'm every time me and my wife go on vacation, like I'm always kind of like twiddling my thumbs, and she's like, "Why can't you just relax?" And I'm like, I gotta like be working on something. So I think there's always gonna be a part of me that wants to build something and growing. Yeah, I mean, I don't have like any specific goals in mind, but I want to continue to be there for all my kids' stuff. Make enough money. We're currently in the process of building our dream house. So, being
Congrats,
there,
bro. I saw that. Congrats.
appreciate it, man. And I think I saw you bought a piece of land like a few months ago, no? For years?
Dude, yeah, but Lon changed your mind, bro. So where we're at, wintertime it gets nasty here over here in Seattle, Washington. Well, I tell people, I always say I live in Seattle, but I don't live in Seattle, because if I say Bellingham, nobody know where Bellingham is, right? And so we live in a small town in Bellingham, bro. And the wintertime it gets really nasty. So Lon said, "Hey, Kong, like she loves the current house that we live in. We bought it back in 2007, man, and we still live there, and Lon loves it. And Lon said like she wants to escape the winter time.
Mm.
So that's why now she's thinking about buying another house in Florida. So that way, you know, we'll spend 6 months here, 6 months in Florida. So that's the game plan of not building a dream home, but being able to buy houses in multiple places. So when we do go, we get, you know, our own place to stay, and when we don't, we can Airbnb it out.
Smart man.
Learning from you, man. Preston, dude, one more thing, dude, is I'm so impressed with how this guy, dude, you built your social media empire. Dude, you're a beast, bro. So much respect for you on that.
There's a funny story. I don't know if you remember this, but when I first started creating content, this was back in 2021, I stitched one of your videos on TikTok, and you know, at that point you had millions of followers. I had like 1,000 maybe, and you actually commented on one of my videos, and I was like, had this like starstruck moment. I was like, oh my gosh, like King Khang, he commented on my video. So it's kind of a funny, you know, full circle moment here. You're coming on the pod and talking to you.
Well, I gotta say, dude, now you're having way more followers than I am, dude, and you have accomplished, Preston, so much more compared to when I was at your age, dude. So I want to say congrats for the hustle, dude. I appreciate you jumping on here, taking time and dropping bombs. But Preston, for those that wants to learn more about what you do, dude, where can they go and follow you, bro?
Yeah, just at the Legacy Investing Show on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it.
I'm telling you guys, dude, Preston, dude, this cat, dude, he gave so much free game. And just from watching his video, you can't even do a deal, dude. Gotta be lazy, bro. Because nothing works if you don't. Especially when someone has already given you so much information on how to get started. Preston, I appreciate you taking time, jumping on here, dude. Congrats to everything, dude. And then once again, dude, thank you for your time, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care, dude.
See you.